Yeah. So this I feel the same way. And so prior to attending, did you ever think that would be your answer? Because I know I thought, oh, I'm gonna make so many friends. I'm gonna go to a party here and there, and
Right.
it's gonna be a great time.
Yeah, I had similar thoughts. I thought I would join a sorority and I would just have, all these girlfriends with me all the time, and that I would just have a ton of friends, and maybe I'll run for homecoming court, and maybe I'll become the editor of the newspaper. I really had grand ideas, um, and I did do some great things. I was able to find some leadership positions that were maybe not what I thought they would be, but I was really into the campus activities board. I was the arts and culture director, so I got to plan poetry slams. And
Ooh.
one of the most fun things I did was called Buddy Crocker, and it was an all male bake off. That was fun. I planned the Hispanic Heritage Month Spanish Language Film Festival, and I got a little bit of experience writing a grant for that from the Spanish Embassy, really doing the logistics of reserving rooms and getting the catering, and I had a great time there, but I had a really hard time making friends.
Yes.
Um, I was so lonely as a freshman and as a sophomore, and I spent the second semester of my sophomore year abroad in Spain, and I came back for college in the fall, and some of my friends had moved. My boyfriend and I had broken up, and some friends were loyal to him, and I had never made that many solid friends in the first place. So it was that semester, the fall of 2014, when I was assaulted, was an incredibly lonely semester for me. And at the same time, it was a semester I met my wife. So it's that I never thought before college that I could have such complex and contradictory emotions. Because on one hand, I think, screw college, burn it down. And then on one hand, I think, gosh, more people need to go to college and have these experiences and have access to this information. But um, I didn't expect to feel so lonely, and I didn't realize that the majority of the student body was going to be from Metro Atlanta and middle class or upper middle class. And I guess I didn't realize that I wasn't middle class. I was pretty middle class for where I grew up, but that's not really saying much because a lot of people live in poverty there. So like I knew people poorer than us, so I didn't really realize I was poor until I went to college. And
there are levels.
Right, there is a spectrum. And the suite mates I was matched with, my roommate was a sophomore, so she kind of already had, she was a sophomore and she knew everything, and she already had friends, and she was very into anime and quirky kinds of clothing, and she was really into her Dungeons and Dragons club. So here comes me, preppy little head cheerleader coming straight out of high school with my Marilyn Monroe posters and my pink bedspread, and she kind of looked at me and was like, I don't know about her. So we were fine. We were never close, but we were just in two different kinds of spheres. But my suite mates had been best friends since kindergarten, and they were from Alpharetta, and one of them lived in this neighborhood called Windward, and the other one didn't live in Windward. So ew. But they were BFFs, and they knew all these people who had gone to their high school, and they like knew everyone, and I was like, oh my god, I'm behind already.
Yes.
No one from our high school had ever gone there.
I'm
And
like
this,
reliving everything. Like, oh my gosh.
yeah, can you even believe there are other people at Georgia College who have this experience? Because it took me years to find them.
No, like I don't know. Did they have the? It's like a big event before school starts, like the weekend before, and you go to Centennial.
Yeah,
Yes, and everyone was walking to Centennial with their little groups and posses, and I'm
right.
like, I just got here a few hours ago.
Yeah,
How do you already know each other?
right.
You're already
Like
clicked up.
I was so baffled because I thought we would all be in the same, place as far as
Yeah,
meeting new people, but it was not new people for a lot of folks. And I
exactly.
was, they were really nice and accepting of me and invited me to come, join their group. But I always felt like an outcast. I was always the oddity. I was the slutty one. I was the one who had had
What?
sex before, and they were virgins, and so I became the kind of, ooh, tell
Uh-huh.
us a story.
I have a story. My sweet mates, I heard them having sex every night. Like, so she moved her, one of them moved her boyfriend in, and you're not supposed to do that. And I heard them having sex every night. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was, I'm a very sex positive person. I
Mhm.
believe that, when you have the information available to make, informed decisions about your sex life, you should be able to do that. So I definitely, like, I don't judge, but to be on the receiving end of a little bit of that judgment from people who already, like, I sometimes felt like a charity case, like it was like someone's birthday and they were like, let's go to Longhorn. And I was like, I can't afford it, I can't go. And she was like, well, I really want you to go. And I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, we can do something else. And she was like, well, I'll pay for you. And I just was like, okay, thanks for including me. But that same friend was invited me fall winter break of freshman year to come stay at her house, and she lived in Windward. And she had gone to high school with my suite mates, and that's how I knew her because they had all been in the same grade forever. And I said, okay, I'll come visit. And so I drive up to Alpharetta, and I'm like, wow, these
So,
are fancy
so
houses.
Wintford is like a neighborhood in
Yeah,
Alpharetta.
yeah, Windward is like a neighborhood. It's not gated, but it's got these big signs that this is Windward. You're
Oh,
entering Windward now. And I didn't really get, what it was, but I guess it's like the nicest neighborhood. So I drive up in my little old 2003 Ford Focus, and I park next to, her BMW, and I spent, I think, 5 days with her family, and that was when I realized I was poor. That was when I was like, oh,
oh,
this is how people live. Like, they had three $100 bills taped to the refrigerator for her younger brother, who was in 8th or 9th grade. If he had a good report card, he could get the three $100 bills off of the refrigerator. I had never seen three $100 bills in in one location like that. I got $600 from family, in total after my high school graduation. So for him to have a decent report card and get half of that, I was like,
oh my
wow, like these are people who get thousands of dollars for their graduations after high school. Like there's a little nest egg almost for college. And then her family had a holiday party
God.
that was catered and had, unlimited open bar, and everyone had to wear cocktail dresses. And
Oh my gosh.
I was just like praying that no one would realize that my dress was like from the clearance rack at Forever 21. I was like, I hope they don't realize this is like a $10 dress, and they have like dripping with like jewels, and yeah, it was very uncomfortable. And my mom got remarried that next summer after freshman year, and I invited that friend to come to the wedding. And when she came and stayed at my house, she she left the next morning without ever saying goodbye. She woke up really early and left. And the night before, at the wedding rehearsal, some of my high school friends were there, and they were like, "Oh, it's so great to meet you, and you must have so much fun with Jess at college." And they said, "So what do you think about it? What do you think about Heard County?" And she said, "I would never come back here." She like so strongly rejected where I was from, and then got up and left without saying goodbye or anything. I mean, it was devastating. I didn't want anybody to come to my house. I didn't want anybody to see where I was from after that. I was humiliated by this person that I thought was my friend.
That's so mean. Even if you felt like that, why would you say that out loud?
Yeah, and I mean, she was like one of two friends that I made freshman year, and it was incredibly hurtful. And sophomore year, we lived together. We were roommates in our dorm because we were both going to go abroad for the spring semester, and we thought, oh, it'll work out great. And our friendship tanked. I mean, I was so hurt, and I had a boyfriend who had an off-campus apartment, and I stayed with him a lot at his apartment. And she was like, "Why aren't you here?" And then one time I didn't have any food, and I just really wanted to eat something before I went to class, and I like took a pack of her fruit snacks and ate them because she had like a ton of snacks and stuff. And she had told me when we moved in together, like, I have an emergency cash stash. If anything ever happens, like, we're roommates, like, I got you. And I took a pack of fruit snacks and ate it and like threw it away in my trash can. And then she was like, "Why did you eat my food? Like, don't touch my food." It was just very weird and uncomfortable. And I was like, okay, so like, I'm not your charity case anymore. Like, the friendship really tanked. And I had a really hard time trusting people after that. And when I met my wife, she's from an adjacent community to Alpharetta, Johns Creek, and I was super nervous. I was like, "You're gonna think that that I'm trashy. You're gonna know like that I come from white trash, and like that's all I am." And she was like, "How could you think I would say that? Like, that's awful. Like, who would say that?" And I was like, "I'll tell you who would say it." It's happened. And of course she was not judgmental like that at all, because she loves me and because she's accepting that people don't all grow up in the same, kind of place. And to rebuild some of that trust in being vulnerable and in saying, this is where I come from and this is what made me. She's been, instrumental in helping me rebuild that trust and being able to open up to people and to say, I've never seen $300 bills at the same time.
Oh, that's so sweet. I love love. Oh my gosh.
Me too.
So let's give the people some little background information on some facts. Okay, so did you go to a PWI?
I did. I think that, well, I don't know how the statistics look now, but from what I had read around the time I was at the university, it was maybe like 85% white. So it was heavily white and heavily upper middle class.
And what city and state was it located?
So it was located in Milledgeville, Georgia, the antebellum capital of the state of Georgia, which I think is relevant because the institution was, established there because of its recent loss of the designation of the capital. It was not the capital. The capital was moved to Atlanta, and they were like, gosh, what can we do? We still people need jobs and stuff, right? We need something. And the establishment of the college was enabled by a woman named Julia Flish, who her slogan was "Give the girls a chance," because Georgia Tech and UGA were both established as male colleges. And this, it sounds really heartwarming, right? Give the girls a chance. But the truth was, she was so horrified driving through rural Georgia. She was horrified to see white women working in the fields alongside previously enslaved people. This is 1887, I think, or somewhere around there. So when it was established as a women's college, it was established as a white women's college. And I think that legacy remains because it is still predominantly white in a community that is not predominantly white. So to me, there's a lingering kind of legacy that I don't know has truly been dealt with. But even in that PWI situation, I was exposed to so many people that I had never been exposed to before, not just racially, but Catholic folks, Jewish folks. There was a Pride Alliance, there was so many different kinds of people. I met people who were self-proclaimed communists and socialists and atheists, and I thought, oh my God, God's going to strike you down if you say that. But the racial makeup of a typical classroom, you could expect, I think, to be majority white.
Oh yeah. You know,
I mean, the audience may not know, the viewers may not know, but I know the photos on the brochures miraculously seem to look like we have this diverse campus. And then you go to class and you're like, this is all white people, like everybody in here,
Oh, yeah, I know. And thank you so much again, Jessica, for being on the channel. And remember to check out these links in the description box below. As always, thank you all so much for watching. And don't forget to comment something and share this video if you like it. And yeah, peace.